that I've seen people arguing about is the political ramifications. Like, what does this do to the country? What does it do to politics? What does it do to legitimacy? Amanda, what is your impression?
Well, my impression is that we're going to have more questions than just this case more broadly about the rule of law. I mean, the reason we are here is not because Americans say, oh, we have kings in our country, we're okay with dictatorship, Donald Trump can do whatever he wants.
Right.
That is not what has happened at all. The only people failing to hold Donald Trump accountable so far are members of the elite in the Republican Party, either through the impeachment process or the unfolding Republican primary process. The American people rejected him as re-electing him as president in 2020. But put that aside, now we are testing questions of legal accountability. And people absolutely have a right to ask the question, courts, hey, does the 14th Amendment mean actually what it says? Could the courts decide? So the only thing we should really be worried about in terms of the politics is, are we going to resolve these questions quickly before the election so that Americans can have full knowledge whether Trump was involved in an insurrection and should be disqualified from office? But more broadly, I think the more important question legally is being posed right now by Jack Smith, and whether Donald Trump as a president is immune from the law or not.
Michael, what do you think?
I agree with that analysis. I think it's spot on. That's exactly where we are. So I want to take what Amanda just said and just move it out a little bit further, because that is the sweet spot of the argument. Now let's deal with the ugly underbelly of the argument. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what how any of this plays out. There's a narrative that's been set in motion around Donald Trump that regardless of outcomes, circumstances, or situations, the end game is the same: to empower him and to empower this movement that is in enabling him, that will not hold him accountable for anything. So while the court is swinging and thinking and moving, and in some cases, as we've seen in some of the issues related to his free speech rights as a candidate, bending over backwards and trying to stay consistent with the constitutional norms and the rule of law, you have at hand within the Republican Party itself, among activists around the country, a general consensus that this is all about Trump, and we will be there to make it realizable for him, whether he, is rejected by the American people or not. The narrative stays the same for them.